G'day ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome aboard the Lancaster. Now I had a request the other day to get out of my comfort zone and fly out a heavy bomber. Specifically the request was for the Lancaster, and I think this was because the Lancaster has a bit of a bad rep as being the worst of the heavy bombers in the game. Interestingly enough, I seem to do consistently better in it than I do with any other heavy bomber, including the B-17s, and part of this comes down to how its bomb load operates. Now, the B-17E, its default bomb loadout is 8 500-pound bombs, and the 8 500-pound bombs are not enough to destroy a base. The Lancaster gets 14 500-pound bombs, should be enough to destroy a base. They should be the same bombs, but they're not. The 500-pounders the Lancaster carries are far more powerful, even though they shouldn't be. It only takes 8 to completely wipe out an enemy base. Also, I've noticed with the bomb loads on them that striking moving ground targets in a B-17, you've got to land a 500-pounder pretty much directly on top of a heavy tank to kill it. The blast radius on the British 500-pounders, however, seems to be about 50 or 60 metres. If you land them anywhere in that zone, anything in that zone melts. Now you'll see this here. I've got my 14 bombs. I'm moving in on my first area target, my first base target. You'll notice I've kept altitude. There is a reason behind this. Now, a lot of pilots will dive in very early on in the match, trying to get to the ground targets before the fighters, and it's really a waste of time. If a fighter wants to take off from the base and get to a ground target before you in a bomber, even though you spawn in an altitude, it usually will. So you're achieving nothing. By staying at altitude, you've at least got a little bit of energy to try and run when you need to, and to make yourself more difficult to kill than you are when you're flying straight and level on the deck with nowhere else to go. So you have a few evasion options. As you can see, I've got a Bearcat coming in, so I'm actually beginning to dive now. My bombs come in, 8 500-pound bombs, enemy base destroyed. I've still got 6 left to cripple the next base, which I'm beginning my dive on. Bearcat takes a couple of hits in. It's an MG Bearcat, but because I'm in a dive and trying to evade, that Bearcat has to dive in a straight line to stay on my tail in order to keep his guns on me, which puts him directly in front of my tail gunner. This is a far better option for a bomber to be involved in than being on the deck, where a Bearcat can basically attack you from any angle it feels like. So 6 bombs away, base damaged, continuing the dive, and I just changed my angle then to head back to the base. And this is the second thing I've noticed with the Lancaster as well. It flies like a 4-engine bow fighter. It is easily the most manoeuvrable of the heavy bombers. It just glorious to fly. You can maintain almost 600 in a dive. Its speed control is good. Its roll rate for a heavy bomber is great, so you can maneuver in it. And as you can see, I've made myself, by continuing the dive the way I was and letting my gunners just chew on his nose, I've convinced the Bearcat that it's probably not a great idea to follow me, and it's bought me the time to get underneath my fighter swarm and to cover. So that's the first part of my outer spawn bombing run. I've destroyed one of the 3 bases outright. The other second base only needs 2 bombs in order to take out. Third base is currently undamaged, and I've managed to escape with almost no damage. From here, it was a pretty standard landing. Adjust course, line up the runway, and line her up for a gentle touchdown. The Lancaster does have a tendency to float under full landing flaps. This is important to remember for my second landing, which was quite a bit more interesting. So, back up in the air, heading in towards the second base, the one I damaged before. The plan is 2 bombs on that base, finish it off, head to second base, dump all the bombs that I have remaining on that. I should have 2 left over that I'll be free to use to take out anything that's in the area that I can, any soft targets or armoured vehicles. and return for another bomb load to start defending our bases. We've got a P-51 up over there. Now the unfortunate part is that pretty much all my team has been shot down in the time it took me to come into land. I don't really have anyone left to give me cover, but that's alright. I'll keep going to the bomb load and we'll see what happens. So just checking it out, we got AI in the area, and it is moving to engage me. One that snuck up on my tail. I'm not sure where he came from. Around, yep, there's a little red dot. He's made his pass and moved out, that's alright. Light damage over the whole aircraft, nothing that's really going to bother a Lancaster. I found durability wise, the Lancaster is very similar to the B-17E. It just doesn't have the armaments, but with its manoeuvrability and the more powerful bombs it has, it doesn't need the armaments to do its job. Just sniping away at these AA. They're just annoying little tow rags, didn't want to go away. I'm not the best shot with MGs on turret control, as you can see, and what do we have here? One P-51 coming into land, one P-51 already on the deck, and that is the last two players on the enemy team. Well, it's only vulturing if you're in a fighter. If you're in a bomber, you're just doing your job. Just line him up carefully, and there's nothing he can do. If he moves, he fails to repair. His mate tries to defend him, bombs away, goes straight underneath, and there's the surprise award. So that's one of my two spare bombs done, but I think I might have annoyed his mate. Still, move in on this next target, and as you can see, that's what 6 bombs does to a base from the Lancaster. That's more damage than 8 bombs from a B-17 will do to a base. Now I released 5 there, I have no idea why. It was a complete waste. I needed 8 left over, I only needed to drop 2. So I've basically just screwed myself out of being able to take out this third base. It's going to be 1 bomb short of dying when I return in. P-51 that was going into land has decided to come in and try and take me out. Now he's running low on ammo, obviously. He may have taken damage. He has put some hits in on my wing. Fire some shots down and light him on fire, and I thought that was the end of it, just the AI left over. So fire a couple more in his direction, he's burning, line up for the shot, and no, he's still coming. And he hasn't fallen out of the sky yet. Nope, his fire's gone out, he's still managing to fly. There goes my wing. And he's killed my tail gunner, so there's nothing I can do about him at this point. Fuselage is black, tail's black, rudder and elevators are now red, right wing's pink, one engine just died, or has gone black and is moments away from dying. There it goes, engine's out, still taking hits, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about him at this time. I just got to keep flying until he runs out of ammo, which he just did. Those shots coming up there are actually from the base AA. So he comes in and looks like he's trying to ram my elevators, but if he's going to take me out, he's going to take himself out too. Immediately kill the throttle and deploy the flaps, pull myself up as tight as I can. Go straight back to WEP afterwards. If he was going to slam into me, I wasn't going to let him gently touch the elevators and take the plane out. He was going to have to wreck his plane on mine. Thankfully, Mr. Killjoy wasn't too interested in doing that, so he's breaking off to go to base because, well, look at the condition I'm in. Wing's black. Number 2 engine is dead. Right-hand wing is pink. Rudder and elevators are pink. Tail and fuselage is black, and all my gunners except my nose gunner are dead. I shouldn't be too hard to deal with. You should have all the time in the world to go back to base, get a reload, and come back. Now, on my way back, I run into some AI who look for some fun as well. Now, I want you to watch the grouping of these shots. He's trying to take out the number 1 engine. And he's striking almost perfectly on the number 1, the section of the wing that covers the number 1 and the number 2. There was basically nothing I could do until he got in front of me, and his angle wasn't really good. I'm having to fly the plane. I can't afford to take manual control of the guns at these times. If I do, the plane's going to crash. And you'll notice the number 1 engine is now black as well, so it's moments away from failing, and the outer engine, number 4, is bright red. So just get it over the mountain. I am bleeding altitude very slowly here. I'm just managing to keep it up. And there goes the number 1 engine. Now, for those of you who know your World War II aircraft history, Lancasters cannot maintain level flight on 2 engines. They also struggle to manoeuvre when the 2 engines that are out happen to be on the same wing. Unfortunately, I have to make a right-hand turn to line up on the runway, and it's my 2 right-hand engines that are still running. Now, this means I'm fighting the thrust of the engine in order to be able to turn the aircraft. So this is maximum turn. So I had to begin my turning on the runway basically from the mountain that's in the middle of the map, just to have a chance to line this thing up. And the right-hand engine's just gone black, so it's about to fail as well. I have almost no lift from the left wing. I am on full right-hand roll in order to maintain level flight, and I'm having to maintain heavy right-hand rudder in order to keep this thing in level flight. 400 feet and dropping, but I have managed to line up on the runway. I've just got to sneak this thing over top of the trees and we'll be all good for a landing. Wheels down, flaps to combat. I don't want to use landing flaps at the moment. I can't afford to lose all the speed because I can't get it back. And that winding down sound, pull the engines back. And there goes the right engine, so I'm landing on 1. And it's going to be not the smoothest landing. Wing left down, boing. I bounced my way down the runway, but managed to keep it level so I don't shear off a wing, and touchdown. Lancaster down on 1 engine. Now, I was pretty proud of that landing. And here's my friend in the P-51 again. Now, he's completely repaired. Got a full load of ammunition on, minus what he just fired at me then. I was really unsure exactly what I was going to do here. And then I came up with a different idea. As he comes back to strafe me again while I'm trying to get my repairing. But I get the repair anyway. That was close. I almost died then. Now, I was about to throttle up and take off here. But if I get off this runway, I'm a dead man. I won't be able to return to it. He will cripple the aircraft and I'll lose the match for my team. And I really wanted to win this one. So brakes on. Jump into the gunner slot. My gunners, while I'm on the runway, have basically unlimited ammunition. I get a reload on these guns every 15 seconds. And I can fire while it's reloading. So I can maintain fire on this P-51 indefinitely. Plus I get repairs. Now, this went on for about 8 minutes of him passing around, doing passes, strafing in, me nailing shots at him. Trying to get distance shots, as you can see here. Comes in for passes and shots trying to get him going away until we came up to his final pass. Now, what I was trying to do here was get a crit on his aircraft. Now, he's just nailed my right wing hard. He set me on fire on the ground. Fuselage is black, both wings are black, plane's wrecked. Still trying to fire shots at him. As long as he doesn't take out my gunners, I'm good to continue doing this. What I'm trying to do is get a crit on his plane. Now what I'm doing is rolling my repair skill against his. My repair skill, a fully damaged, fully critted aircraft will repair in under 2 minutes. In fact, you've just seen him complete near his last pass. You can see I'm already down to a minute 37 despite the damage on the aircraft. When he bugs out of the area here, I'm only going to be 42 seconds from being fully repaired. Now he's obviously faster than me, he will beat me back to his own runway. But I'm not going to be far away behind him. His runway isn't that far for him to get a lead. At least not the one I'm pretty sure he's going to be going to. So my thought is here, if I can crit his aircraft, and if his repair skill isn't as good as mine, he should be on the ground for 2 minutes. 2 minutes should buy me a window to get myself into a position to drop a bomb on his forehead. He's made his last pass, and he is exiting the combat zone. As you can see here, I'm just on 50 seconds, ticking down. He's exiting. There's a warning for map time. This was a long match. This went on for nearly 50 minutes. This has been heavily edited down so that you don't have to limb through the long sections of nothing. So, he's bugged out of the area, I'm repaired, and I'm back in the sky. I've got engines running hard and I'm heading straight for his runway. Now, this is the likely spot he's gone to. It's the closest runway, it's the fastest place for him to get a repair and reload and be able to get back to me quickly. I don't think he would have gone for the long one. If he had have, he would have survived this. And there he is there, and he's on the ground. It looks like he's only just touched down. I'm lined up for the kill. And there he goes. His crew spotted me incoming and he bailed out of the plane. I was sort of hoping he had managed to complete a repair. I really would have liked to finish this with another kill. I do taunt a little here in a second. I punch a message to him asking him, or hoping that he repaired his plane before he bailed out. But he didn't. As you can see, he's quit the match, which leaves me with the AI. Now, this match still potentially could be lost here, because I've been fighting on a runway for the last 10 minutes. Nobody's been around to stop tanks encroaching in on the friendly British bases. So I'm going to have to work fast to pull the points back into the lead to make sure this is a win. Shoji all over my tail, so I pump some rounds into him. Those hawks are annoying to hit. So into the base. Line up for release. 2 bombs, one to finish the base, and then 1 extra to take out the AA there for an extra kill. Line back up. Now there are some light AA guns. I'll have a strafe of them on the way past. No point wasting bombs on those. I need them for the tanks at point A. Now, low-level bombing. Watch how the Lancaster moves in this. I could not have done this anywhere near as well as I did in anything besides the Lancaster. So first bomb's delivered on target. Shoji's still there. Go away. Now I'm down to only 1 AI left. Which, as it turns out, was a really good thing. I know exactly where that AI is, and I need to end the match that way, because basically the runway delayed me for too long. So line back up on the next tank. One away. Small out. Brake turn, and despite being so close to the target and in a heavy bomber, more than enough time to turn the Lancaster around. As I said, it feels like flying a 4-engine Beaufighter. Back on, accidentally released 2 bombs in rather than 1, which was annoying. Next bomb down. I've only got 1 bomb left in the bay. And there's one tank in the middle of the base that's about to get ready to move in and cap. Bomb released, and you'll see what I mean. I don't have to hit the tanks and she still detonates. The B-17's bombs feel like I'm dropping hand grenades. I've got to land them right on the target. The Lancaster actually feels like I'm using bombs. But now I have a problem. I'm out of bombs. If I go back to base to rearm, those tanks there would have already have capped A by the time I get back. So I'm going to have to kill the last AI. So, Lancaster air superiority mode. Now, I'm not a particularly great shot with these turrets, and they are only 7mm. They do take a few hits. You really need to hit a soft spot and get a critical to easily take down any aircraft with them. That said, I have managed to kill an F-80C in this thing since this match. No, miss. I'm not the greatest shot with turret gunners, as I said before, but finally managed to line him up after 2 or 3 minutes of dogfighting in a Lancaster, which was amusing if nothing else. And I let the auto gunners do their thing. Critical hit on the tail, and down she goes. And that's the match and victory. Carrying in a Lancaster. Who says it can't be done? All you need is a good 40 plus minutes to do it in. Anyways, let's go through and check out the results, shall we? So, I came in first place with 2,479 points, all 3 base kills, 8 ground kills, 3 air kills, the final blow award, fighter, bomber, and bulletproof, 144,805 silver lions, 9,470 mod research points, and 4,735 air research points on a premium account on an X2. Battle time, as you can see, was 38 minutes and 55 seconds, and yeah, not a bad result, but a lot of work. That said, I've never, ever managed to pull off anything close to this sort of a result in a B-17, regardless of model or make. I just find everything with the Lancaster, except its defensive armament, its 7.7s are pretty crap. But they will do the job if you can keep them on target. The bombs are definitely better than anything that the B-17s carry, although they should be identical for all intensive purposes. They're just not. Handling wise, yeah, this thing's a 4-engine Beaufighter. It can turn like nothing else, and it maintains good dive speed and good speed once you get it going. It is slow to accelerate compared to the other bombers, but once you've got it up to speed, it tends to stay there. Very good energy retention. Overall, I think the reputation the Lancaster has come from people who haven't flown it a lot, and its reputation has spread, which is why you don't see it in battles very often. A lot of people could potentially fly it, and they just don't, much like I probably wouldn't have unless I was challenged to take it out. And I'm glad I was, because I'm sort of in love with the little thing. She is definitely fun to fly. Anyways, folks, hope you like this video. Click like if you do. Subscribe if you want to see more. Fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.